lakini huwezi kuniambia mtu kiongozi wa
The Rwandans thought the Angolans were too close to the Congolese. And so it was clear, I think, for some time that the status of the mediator was a problem. And I think that's why you now see the process now being usurped by other actors, if you will. So you see the entrance of the Qataris, you see the entrance of other actors. And I think it's largely because the Rwandans were uncomfortable with the Angolan mediation. I mean, there were many other problems. I think just fundamentally, a lot of the Rwandans were not happy, and that's what they cited as the main reason for the collapse. The fact that the Congolese didn't want to talk to the M23 armed group, and so that was also, I think, a key factor in the collapse of the talks.
They have, some of them have no.
The first one is the force commanders.
Thank you, sir.
But the final straw was the fact that when the M23 then refused to show up to those talks, and the Congolese government all of a sudden appeared on social media in Qatar with talks with Rwanda without the Angolans even having been notified, they perceived this as a diplomatic faux pas. And so I think that was the final straw. You know, they were facilitating talks that were going nowhere, and then they were basically snubbed by the Qataris. They felt that it was too much. It seems, at least, that both the Rwandans and the M23 have national demands. For the M23, it's the departure of Tshisekedi, or at the very least, a power-sharing agreement with Tshisekedi. For the Rwandans, it's some sort of very broad economic and security guarantees that have to do with the Eastern DRC. Now, if they go to the negotiation table now, sure, they have two large Congolese cities, Bukavu and Goma, but that's, what, 5% of Congolese territory or something like that? They're going to get laughed out of the room if they say, and we want Tshisekedi to leave power. And so I think that in the end, I think that they do want to keep advancing probably to take more land, more territory, to have more leverage. At least that's how I see things.
Sawa sawa sawa.
Watoto wa Bukavu, jambo. Este, mukena kia sana lutamoni. Matondo mingi.
Yes, baba.
Au ya choka.
Tokani. Tokani.
But in the short term, Rwanda and the M23 do need to be seen like they're playing the game of a peace process. They need to be seen like they're respecting the process. There's been calls from their peers across Africa for a ceasefire and to come to the negotiation table. They need to be seen like they're taking that seriously, even if they may not be, in the end, taking that seriously. And of course, there are the sanctions. Rwanda has been hit with numerous sanctions. They could be hit with more sanctions. This could ramp up. And so I think that as well has given them pause. It's more than just getting tourists to come to Rwanda. That's important. That's $600 to $700 million of revenue a year. But even more important is projecting this image of Rwanda across the world. Those are the partnerships they have with Carnegie Mellon University, they have with Bill Gates, they have, that's what they really, really care about. Now, it's hard to do that, to project brand Rwanda safe, great place to be, and invade a neighboring country at the same time and displace 1 million people there, or actually more like 3 million people there. And so I think that's really what's biting. It's not the material sanctions so much, it's the constant news headlines that hadn't been there, to be honest, for 3.5 years. They were invading their neighbor, and you barely saw it in the news. But as soon as Goma and Bukavu fell, it's been a constant drumbeat of Rwanda's backing an armed group in the Eastern DRC. And that, I think, does hurt. And so it's a narrative reframing that I think they're trying to bring about.
Vous avez marché ici.
Maintenant, c'est fini. Construire, ça a recommencé derrière.